All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to today's episode of Two Dads and Business Podcast with Stephen and Andrew. Today's episode is one of ours about the home service corner. So, home service corner is 15 ish, 20 minutes of very specific stuff to home service companies based on what Andrew and I do within our marketing agency with digital. So, today we're going to talk about you mentioned a couple things. One, like intention of the business and based on some questions that you're getting, and then a little
Yep.
bit on like maybe like marketing budgets.
Yeah. And so, kind of based on the intention, getting an idea of what a healthy budget should be or what someone can plan for. And so, I've been getting a ton of questions about what should my budget be? Is 100 grand a year too much? And, kind of just these random arbitrary questions that don't seem to have any rhyme or reason. And somebody went on a Facebook group or a coaching group or some sort of forum and everyone's got an opinion on how it should be done. And
Well, because most of them are percentage, right? Like when people
I
talk
mean,
about marketing
people
budgets
are
a
kind of
lot,
throwing out all sorts of stuff right now. I mean,
nice.
net dollar amounts and percentage amounts and all sorts of different things. And so the first question I ask everyone is sort of that, what do you want to do with the company? Are you looking to take money out of it today, support your family, go on vacation, enjoy life kind of in the moment while you run the business? Are you looking to go as lean as possible, have narrow margins, knowing that, hey, I'm selling in 2 or 3 years. So
Mhm.
this is going to be rapid growth, aggressive growth, and I'm going to get mine on the sale of the company. And so, kind of with that, the marketing budget totally changes, as you know. And so, it's interesting, kind of, we've talked about it in the past, but how much noise is out there and,
Mhm.
not necessarily buying into everything that everyone is telling you, and really taking the time to decide, like, what do you want out of the business? If the answer is you're going to leave it to your kids and you're going to spend the time building the business and enjoy your family in between and kind of have that balance of home and professional, and don't go broke trying to market your business. That being said, if the goal is to get out in 2 3 years, you're going to have to likely double your marketing budget percentage. And so looking at sort of that 7 to 12% average budget. But I mean, it's not uncommon. We've had some clients that are up in that 16,
Yeah.
17, 18%, but they knew they were going to get out. And so, I know you talk about it a lot, but kind of picking that intention and sticking with that, having that vision kind of in mind with your business, and then make those budgeting decisions. And so, I think anything under seven's a little tough to be competitive in today's landscape. But I also don't think you need to go nuts spending 15% of your total annual
Yeah. And you're talking about percentage of gross revenue,
gross
right?
revenue.
Kind of when you do the
Correct. Yep.
calculation. Cool.
Yeah. And so, looking at a budget, it's that's a fair assessment, I think. But also, what do you want to do with the business?
Yeah. I think that's really important. How easy is it nowadays with all the stuff on social media and all the experts out there and all the people that have, sold for 100 million and follow what they do and you'll do the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
so many people don't take the time to figure out, oh, wait, do I also want that person's lifestyle? Do I
Mm-hmm.
want to be married to the business 20 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Yep.
And so, yeah, get clear on your intention. And there's nothing wrong with having a two, three, $4 million business that's consistently growing, producing good profit, gives you a lot of time with your family and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, where do we get into the world where it was all about revenue? And
Mm-hmm.
so, for those of you listening that maybe you're like, cool, I do want some resemblance of a life.
Yep.
Great. Be proud if you've created a $3 or $5 million company that's like running lean and
Yep.
profitable and healthy and gives you that time. So I think that's really important.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's been an interesting past couple months, as everyone I think is feeling in the home service space. But I've had a lot of conversations, to your point, with the $1.5 million, $2 million guys, and they're like, "Yeah, but you don't understand. In order to get to 10 million," and I'm like, "Do you want to be at 10 million?
Yeah.
You said you want a happy lifestyle where you don't have to work your ass off. You're not burnt out all day long. You're not gonna enjoy that lifestyle for a very
Yeah.
long time if 10 million is what you're trying to get to. You've got years and years of kind of foregoing that, or it could take you 10 years to get to 10 million. steady growth and you had the nicer house, you got to take the vacations with the family, you got to take a Friday off and, go see a friend or play golf or whatever it may be. And, to your point, yeah, you don't see the backside of other individuals'
Yep.
lives and kind of how all in they go. And that's its own set of unhealthy things for the most part, going on with that group as well. So,
Yeah.
not that there's a wrong answer, but you need to find kind of the direction you want to go with the company. And then I think making budget decisions is easy. I think they're uncomfortable because it's like, well, I want to grow rapidly, but I also want to be able to put money in my bank account. And, you're doing the this or this kind of thing the whole time. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we've done a good job at WIT over the last couple of years. We focus on, is it fun? And do we have time to do the other things that we want to do? And those go in cycles, right? Sometimes it's kind of balls to the wall at work for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, because it feels good
yep.
and because it's fun. And then it's like, cool, okay, like, hey, let's take a little bit of a breather. Let's let all the new stuff that we've done within the company kind of settle and see what works and what doesn't work and see what breaks so that we know what to go in and fix.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be one thing forever,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't have to be cool. I'm going to have steady, slow growth with lots of free time.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be it forever. That can be it for a season or a cycle. And then maybe you want to go all in. Maybe the company wants to grow a ton. Great. Do
Yep.
it. Spend a quarter kind of working your butt off
Yep.
in the business and having fun doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that's my hatred for, my hatred for annual budgets because it's so stale. It's like, cool, we can only spend 7% this year on marketing. Okay. But to your point, what if you get 3 really good technicians and got a deal on a new truck and, some guys left from a competitor because they hated their life and you were able to scoop them up? Would that be worth spending 12% for 3 months to get them busy, happy, cranking a little bit, knowing it'll take some more time, but that's okay? Kind of on the other side, like, why does it have to be this cool? And, we like to do that, especially on the paid services side. We take a little bit different approach than I think a lot of agencies where we don't just throw out some Hail Mary number. We sort of really handle it day in, day out, real time and see, like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Should we push more? Should we push less? And kind of handle it a little more, in the moment than, well, for the next 3 months, we spend 10 grand a month on PPC, and it just doesn't work that way. And I think people are starting to feel that. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of, square peg and a round hole stuff going on where it's like, no, it's going to fit.
Yeah.
This is how I've always done it. And, if you catch yourself saying, well, I used to, or this is how I've always done it, that should be the sign that you are not on the right path.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the 4 most dangerous words in the English language. I already know that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I learned that years ago, and I catch myself saying it sometimes, and I'm like, oh, crap.
Okay.
Like,
Yep.
yep, I knew it,
Yep.
and I didn't implement it at all. So, like,
Perfect.
perfect
Yeah.
advice.
Exactly.
Time to do it.
Yeah. So,
And businesses are moving a lot faster than they used to, right? And so you used to be able to predict a year, 2, 3 years and kind of let the plan run. And that's just not the case now. There's too many variables. Things are happening too quick. Even just with Google, like, things change.
Yep.
You've got to change your plan.
Yeah, it used to be an algorithm update like once a year.
Yeah,
I think last year we had like 11 large updates.
Yeah, I mean, the last time Google presented in front of Congress, they said that they did, I can't remember the exact number. I think it was like 526 algorithm updates in a year.
Mm-hmm. And they only told you about some of them.
Yeah.
Look over here at this large one we did. Don't mind these 35 that we had to do to clean it up,
Yeah.
Well, and even just, we're all aware of, equity groups and investment groups entering the space. As soon as they enter the business world of any sort of kind, like, it's game on in a whole different way. And if it's not working, they just pivot and they buy their way out and they buy love and they kind of force things through in a way where maybe that industry had never really felt that. It's no longer just go to work, do good work, and you'll always have business. And so, time to kind of approach it differently. And I don't think that means you need to spend a substantial amount more. Maybe in some markets with specific types of marketing, but in general, just like try something different and I've been telling everyone, yeah, still have a 10% marketing budget, but go back to doing the grassroots stuff, banging on doors and saying hi to people and walking up and down Main Street and kind of doing those things that always seem to work before. Eventually you get to a size where that's not feasible, but
Yeah.
I think most people are not to that size yet. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Love it,
awesome.
man. So basics of it is get clear on the intention of your
Yeah,
business and then go and choose your marketing budget. And then just make sure if you're working with an agency that they're asking you those questions and kind
yep,
of helping you determine what a reasonable budget is, or if you have a coach, work with
yep,
them, as far as that goes. But yeah, don't stress about copying somebody that you don't want their exact lifestyle
yeah,
and business.
absolutely. And I think you bring up, one last kind of thing on that is selecting an agency. If they're presenting you with just a annual budget and saying this is how much you have to spend this year to be successful, that should be the dead giveaway that it's going to be sort of flat and mediocre, because they can't predict seasons, they can't predict economic changes. They should be able to say, hey, here's a speculative, but we're going to touch base X amount of times throughout the year to true this up or make sure it's on track. If they're just like, here's your one and done
Mhm.
budget for the year, cool. What if you quoted hey, this is what I'm going to do for water heaters for the rest of the year?
Yeah,
You'd
it's
likely
crazy.
not do well,
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, get clear on the intention, and then if you need a range, 7 to 12% is kind of the standard. I think any agency that you ask, that would be kind of where recommendations would fall. Outside of that, just trying to beat the monster in PPC in some massive market. But
Awesome.
cool,
Cool.
awesome
Awesome.
guys,
Hope everybody has a great day.
thanks.